Well, by now you may have seen the ads both for and against Proposition 8. That's the measure to regulate profits at the state's dialysis clinics.
Kidney failure affects many people. They're not going to be better off if Proposition 8 passes.
It says big dialysis can't discriminate against people they're supposed to care for. Yes on 8, because kidney patients deserve better.
With a combined $120 million raised in campaign contributions from both sides, Prop 8 is the most expensive measure on California's November ballot. Joining us now is Yvonne Leow. She's the co-founder of By the Bay, a nonpartisan voter information guide. Thanks so much for being with us tonight to help us kind of sort this all out. It can be, very confusing for folks watching these ads on TV. So Prop 8 would put a cap on profits for dialysis centers. We know it's backed by a number of unions, including SEIU healthcare workers. What is it that they are hoping to accomplish with the proposition?
Thanks for having me. Absolutely, this is a really complicated proposition, and part of what the union is trying to achieve is essentially trying to compel dialysis clinic companies to invest in two particular categories: direct patient care costs as well as healthcare costs. And so what that entails is often like staffing, professional development, training, wages for dialysis clinic workers. And so I think that's what they're trying to achieve, is to also incentivize and compel these companies to spend money there.
So is this more about the employees, the workers, or patients?
It's been argued that it will be helping the workers, which will then ultimately help the patients. So that's where it gets a little bit complicated and where the debate emerges, because you can say that because it's helping workers, it's not helping the patients, but that's the argument that they're trying to make.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, a lot of money being spent on this, with a majority of it from those who run these dialysis centers. What do they have what do they stand to lose if this proposition is passed?
A lot. So dialysis clinics in the state of California make about $3 billion a year. It is definitely a big part of their business and their profits. You can tell by the amount of money that they're spending that a lot is at stake for them.
So Proposition 8, among other things, I understand it would require these dialysis clinic operators to report their spending to the state. It would also stop them from turning away patients based on who their insurance carrier is. Let's delve a little bit more into how patients are potentially going to be impacted by this proposition.
Right, and so I think that's where both sides are kind of wielding different types of arguments that are kind of grounded in hypotheticals at the moment. On the union side, they're saying that by capping these revenue at 115%, it will ultimately help patients because of where the money will be ultimately spent. As a result, on the other side, dialysis clinics are saying you're helping patients by keeping these clinics on. And that's a hypothetical. A lot of what the no on Prop 8 folks are saying is that it will shut down clinics. People will lose not only their jobs, but patients won't have access to care. That's questionable. The Legislative Analyst's Office actually has said that's very unclear of whether or not that would actually happen, because there are so many variables at play. So, to be determined. I think the key is to focus on what the proposition actually outlines, regardless of what either side is claiming for the particular patient.
Yeah, well, this is my final question for you, because we're just about out of time. But when you're looking at this long term, would this set a precedent? Right now, you're sort of targeting those who run dialysis centers, but could it be another aspect of healthcare in the future?
It is certainly a message to dialysis clinics, and saying, especially for voters, to pass Prop 8 and saying that, we want to keep these costs under control. Ultimately, the biggest impact are on these for-profit dialysis clinics. So yes, there would be a message that would be sent by passing Prop 8.
All right. Thank you so much, Yvonne Leow from By the Bay. And we want to let everyone know we have a link to By the Bay on our website, and that's where you can find a breakdown of all of our state's propositions coming up in the November elections here. And we also have information on some local races as well. You can find it all under web links at ktvu.com.